Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel directly, but you guys should subscribe. Check out my social media, which is on screen, was on screen. But today I want to talk about Demyx being the Master of Masters. And I remember when KH3 first came out, it was sort of just a meme, if that makes sense. Like in my Discord server, I remember a bunch of us sort of joking around about it because there were already sort of images going around on Twitter or whatever of people comparing them, and I was sort of on board with the crack theory or with the meme, if you want to call it that. I was like, guys, trust, Demyx is the master or masters or whatever. It just felt like a joke, if that makes sense, and I was fully on board with it though. I committed to the meme, if that makes sense. But now that I've started looking into it, I feel like it has some merit, if that makes sense. I feel like there's something about it that just makes sense. So this name I'm gonna butcher, so I'll just spell it out for you. P-R-Y-N-A-A. So Prana or something. On Reddit, they basically posted a comparison image, so I want to sort of show you guys. But look at this, okay? So this is the first thing. People have sort of made a bunch of images like this, I guess. But it seems like this is this is the one that's on the Reddit, and so it's Demyx says here too, you shouldn't judge anyone by appearance or whatever. You guys can't see my face, but you guys can just see my head shaking back here. Anyway, and then you have this one, right? And the lines aren't really similar at all, but the body movement definitely is a type of ways, if that makes sense. It definitely looks like Demyx's body movements, right? And so I feel like they do share a lot of those sort of body movements. They're their mannerism, how they talk, I guess, their hand actions, stuff like that. And we know, right, that Luxord and Demyx are part Luxord, or whatever they're calling him in Kingdom Hearts 3. I thought it was Luxord, because they call the Lux in the light or whatever, they call it Lux. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced as Lux, and so you'd think that it would be Luxord and not Luxord. But anyway, and so they are part of the ancient Keyblade wielders, and we know that Calxiyn is just some rando, right? Or not or rando. She's part of the Dandelions, right? Marluxia is one of the new foretellers, if you want to call it that, right? He's in with Skald and Ephemera and all that. And so we only have a couple options. They were either both Dandelions, they were both foretellers, or one of them is the Master of Masters. And I am going to talk about Luxord a little bit because I've been thinking. And I don't have an original source for this idea, but I think in the Discord server, a bunch of us were also talking about how the Discord server is Patreon only, by the way. That's why you guys should become patrons over on Patreon. Anyway, in the Discord server, we were talking about how water is getting more and more darkness-y, I guess. Maybe it always was, because I do feel there's a lot of metaphor from the very beginning. Riku is in his darkness outfit, and he gets the wave crashing over him, in the Kingdom Hearts opening, and how it's falling into the water to the Station of Awakening, right? And in Dream Drop Distance, the first tutorial boss is Ursula, and she's on the water and in the water. And even Hall of Ashen has all of these sort of water systems and all this water everywhere, if that makes sense. And then in Kingdom Hearts 3, now Sora has water powers, right? And he also, in the final world or whatever, he's see-through, obviously, but that entire world just seems very water-ish. Seems very watery. I don't know. And Scala ad Kylum, right, I think Daybreak Town is submerged underneath it or something. It's just all of those things that are darkness is starting to more equal water, if that makes sense. And Demyx's element is water, so maybe that's a hint, I feel that kind of makes sense. Maybe that's a stretch, right? But I feel that water kind of always had something to do with darkness, right? Especially when you do look at the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 openings. So I think that it's not that far of a stretch. Also, I do have some quotes that I would like to read. This is a bit of a crack theory, I guess. These quotes aren't necessarily very proof, I guess. It's just, I thought they were interesting. So I got these from the wiki, by the way, but I'm pretty sure that they're true. Like, they're actually legit. So, you ever get the urge to just do something stupid and awesome? Wait, I'm getting an idea. Nope, it's gone. So he says that to Roxas, I think, when he's just, like, lounging or whatever. And so, like, doesn't the Master of Masters seem like the urge to do something stupid and awesome type? Because obviously, like, the Master of Masters seems to have a plan, right? You know, he's like, oh, I'll pass on my thing to gaze my eye into the future or whatever, like with the Keyblade and the gazing eye and all that stuff. Like, he seems to, like, he assigns roles to everyone, so he seems organized, but I feel like it's a little bit of organized chaos. Does that make sense? Because when he talks, he just seems like an impulsive, like, urge to do something type person, and so, like, maybe, like, Demyx was remembering something from his past, and then it's gone, you know what I mean? Or maybe he knows that he's the Master of Masters the entire time, and he's just fucking with people. And so he says, how come I don't get a nickname? I think it's because they call Xion the puppet, so I think that's the scene that's supposed to be. And so this is very cracked theory, but we all called the Master Master's mom for short, and so we finally gave Demyx a nickname. Okay, that was just a joke. I'm not serious about that one. But it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe that's like a remnant of his forgotten past. But yeah, so I think the most telling one, and the one people point to the most, is you shouldn't judge anyone by appearance, right? When he's like, and I feel like this is a reference towards him, that, like, Sora calls him a kook or whatever, but, like, if he's been mom the whole time and he knows what's happening, like, in the future, and, like, he's on that building with his little heart, like, in the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3 ending, it's sort of like he's a lot more powerful than we would assume. Like, Sora's just judging him, but really, like, Demyx is the one laughing because he's, like, you know, the most powerful of all, if that makes sense. Oh, man, I sound crazy. Anyway, so moving away from that, alright, Demyx also, like, just disappeared, like, in the middle of everything. Like, here's my theory, alright? Demyx betrayed the organization and got the replica body to help the Side of Light because he knew in order to get rid of Xehanort and to start the new phase or the new era with the Foretellers, he had to bring back Roxas and Xion, or else Sora and co were gonna fail. So that's sort of my theory, is that Demyx seems to be, like, Vexen is obviously just, I don't know, Vexen is just, like, a manipulative little shit, I guess. But in terms of Demyx, like, Demyx really has no reason to sort of just jump on board with things like that. Like, I guess he's just bored. He's, like, tired of being put on the sideline or whatever, but that would actually make sense. If Demyx was the Master of Masters, the reason why he betrayed the organization again was because he was doing it to further his own plan. He knew that Sora and them would fail unless they had Roxas and Xion as lights. And I think that makes sense, right? Especially because if Xehanort wasn't defeated, there wouldn't be the era with the Foretellers, and Lucio couldn't do his thing at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, right? And so I feel like that theories about Luxord or even Sora being the Master Masters also make sense in some ways, and I may give those, like, their own video, but just to sort of, I have some notes here about that. So, like, Luxord is the gambler of fate, and I feel like Mom sort of fits that in a way. I'm just calling him Mom. Like, the Master Master sort of fits that in that way. Like, he's planning this big thing for the future. He's passing down this Keyblade so he can see the future, and, like, you know, he's at the end of the game looking at the moon with his little, and it could be a manipulation of time, and that's something that Luxord also has, because, like, Lucio just body hopped, I guess, sort of like how Xehanort body hopped into Terra, right? But Mom could still be maybe in his original body, like, from the past, but nobody has recognized him, and he's also wearing that hood all the time, so, like, who even knows? Like, Lucio as Bragg, even just Lucio in general, maybe never even saw the Master Master's face, so he just doesn't know that Luxord or Demyx is the Master Masters. And that could also be why Luxord gave Sora the wild card. That probably keeps him alive. A lot of people are theorizing that it was the wild card that gave Sora another chance, and I definitely think it was. And so what if that was all part of Luxord as the Master Masters? What if that was all part of his plan, is that Sora needs to stay alive for the next game, the next era where the Foretellers are the enemies, and that sort of all ties together. I think that makes a lot of sense. And So I think that in general, whether it's Demyx or Luxord, Sora's getting his own video, like, don't worry about that. Whether it's Demyx or Luxord, right, I think Master of Masters disappears into the future where he pretends to be a nobody, regardless of whether it's Demyx or Luxord, right? We know that Luxu, as Bragg, found some of the organization members himself. I talked about this on Twitter, but he says, like, oh, well, I found a new one yesterday. His name is Mar something. I've been, like, busting my ass to boost our numbers. He's telling that to Ienzo, right? And so he found Marluxia, one of the ancient Keyblade wielders himself. Y'all can't tell me that it's a coincidence that Bragg, now knowing that he's Luxu, I just happen to find Marluxia somewhere in the woods. Like, no, that has to be some sort of plan. He must have known it all along, that Marluxia was one of the ancient ones, right? And Demyx and Luxord come before Marluxia, right? I think it's Demyx, Luxord, Marluxia, Calxiyn. Or maybe it's Luxord, Demyx, Marluxia, Calxiyn. Either way, I don't know who's first. But, like, that would sort of make sense that Demyx or Luxord, right, they get found by Bragg. Master of Masters knows that Bragg is Luxu because of the Gazing Eye Keyblade and all that, but Bragg may not know that Demyx or Luxord are the Master of Masters, if that makes sense. And so, like, because Demyx, Luxord, Marluxia, and Calxiyn are the last ones found, like, again, Bragg does say that he's been out there. I guess I should call him Zigbar because he was Zigbar then. Anyway, you guys understand what I mean. I'm too confused. But, like, it makes sense that Demyx and Luxord were found first. Luxord. Demyx and Luxord were found first before Marluxia, right? And that's basically sort of my thought so far. Like, I'm on board with it being Luxord or Demyx. I think that they both make sense. Like, I think that Demyx matches more in personality, but Luxord matches more in terms of him, like, saving Sora and, like, the themes of time and gambling around his character. But imagine this, guys. Master Masters seems slightly bipolar, right? Like, in how he acts, I guess. He seems... It's hard to explain. Like, he just seems like multiple personality-ish. And so, what if Master of Masters is both Luxord and Demyx? What if he's both of them at the same time? Like, you thought that Master of Masters was just one person, but it was actually two people pretending to be one person. And that's how this all... That's how this all fits in. Anyway, so you guys let me know what you guys think. I'm, like, on board with either Demyx or Luxord. I would have to look at Luxord's quotes a bit more first. I think that it would fit either way. I think I also want to look into the Sora theory, but let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys later. Bye, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons and our YouTube membership members who have joined using the join button that is under this video or on my channel page. You guys may be wondering, what do patrons and YouTube membership members get? YouTube membership members for $5 get access to my Discord server, they get a bunch of cool emotes, and they get early access to all of my videos. $10 patrons on Patreon get early access that is more than a week in advance, so sometimes we do videos like weeks in advance or even a month in advance, and so they'll get those videos way earlier, right? And they also are able to make requests, and so if they want us to do a shipping video or a reaction to an anime or to cover some sort of theory or to discuss something, they can ask for it and we will do it. On Patreon, $5 is early access a week in advance and $1 is for the Discord server. I hope that that helps. Again, thank you to our wonderful patrons over on Patreon, and I hope that you guys will join up soon. I will see you guys later. Bye.